So since James Gunn's Suicide Squad is hitting cinemas and HBO Max this Friday, I thought it'd be fun to stop and talk about all 17 members of this new Suicide Squad, who will die, when, and who will survive. Let's talk about it. So before we get into anything, I know some of you guys got to see the Suicide Squad early, maybe, but if you did get to see this film early, please do not spoiler it down in the comment section below. But those who haven't seen it, do not check the comment section down below, because people are just going to completely ignore what I said. Secondly, let me know what you guys think of my tier list. I will leave a link down in the description box below for the tier list I used. And also let me know you guys ranking who do you think will live, who do you think will die, when, why, what way. I would love to know all your guys' thoughts. So without that further ado, let's get started with the tier list. But before we get started with the tier list, here are our tiers. Survives, pretty general consensus, the people that will live. Dies in the finale, dies early on in the movie, and the one who will draw first blood. So without that further ado, let's get started. So the first one up is Amanda Waller. Now I have her put in dies in the finale, but this could easily go up and down. I have two kind of problems with this. Number one, if they want to make more Suicide Squad films, they're gonna have to keep her, because I don't really know how you can do a Suicide Squad film without Amanda Waller. It's kind of confusing. But if she's just as despicable and unlikable as she was in that 2016 Suicide Squad film, James Gunn is a really great director at making the villains just get absolutely obliterated. And for my money, I think she's going to survive throughout the entire film. They're going to kill the starfish or stop it or whatever. She's going to think everything's going to go, and then somebody's just going to blow her head off. I think that's how it's going to go. Or if they want to make more Suicide Squad films, they could easily keep her alive. So this could easily go back and forth. Next up on the list, I have Blackguard or however how you pronounce his name. I'm having him dies early on in the film. He's a character not much people know about. He's a character that just seems like this snarky, just full of himself guy, and he seems like an easy character who is just going to get his head blown off. Next up, we have Idris Elba's character, Bloodsport. I'm going to put him dies in the finale. Now, I know that's a very weird place to put him. He's Idris Elba. He's a top dollar actor. He's one of the bigger actors on this cast, but hear me out. He's this character who did not want to join the Suicide Squad. He's this character who has done a lot of life of crime, just dealing with his daughter, dealing with different problems. I think we could get a sacrifice in the finale, right? You know, the starfish is coming down and he has explosives or something. Sacrifice him, says something like a one-liner, or says something for his daughter, and his daughter's watching him on TV or something like that, because it looks like it's being recorded, broadcast. Then she sees him die as a hero instead of just live as a villain. I know it sounds super cliched, but I think if it's done right, and if it's done in this way, I think it could be a really beautiful moment, and they could easily keep him alive. I was kind of going this back and forth, but thinking about it, I'm this would be the right way to go. If they keep him alive, I understand, because it's Idris Elba. It's a top dollar character, but I think he will die in some sacrificial way in the finale. Next up, we have Captain Boomerang. I have him dies early on in the film. Listen, he was likable in the first film, but he's pretty useless. I think we could see a pretty fun and quirky death, like him getting blown up or shot to death or something. Just a fun death. I don't think he's going to get a heroic death or anything. Jai Courtney is a fun actor. He was fun in that film. It's the only film I've seen that I really like Jai Courtney in something. Normally I don't really like him. And I can see him having fun with the James Gunn style, and James Gunn actually make him a really likable character, so they could keep him, but I don't see them keeping him, because he's not a very important character. And if they want to do more Suicide Squad films, I don't see them doing much more with this character. So I have him dies early on in the film. Next up, we have Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn. I have her in Survive. Now, why? Well, she's the most popular character in the first Suicide Squad film, and she's the most popular character in this Suicide Squad film. And I don't see her killing her off. If they do, though, I don't know how they would do it, though. That's the thing. I don't see a sacrificial thing. It wouldn't be in her character, But if they just kill her off normally, it would feel kind of bland and like the character deserves something better. So just to keep her alive, to make more Harley Quinn films, or to put her in the sequel if they want to make a sequel, I think that could be a good idea. And Harley Quinn is a fun character, and I do want to see a bit more from Margot Robbie. So I think they're going to keep her alive for future films. Next up, I have Javelin. I put him in dies early in the film. I don't know anything about this character. I don't know what his powers are. He seems like this snarky, full of himself guy, so I get to see himself dying like the most hilarious way possible. From the trailers, he seems like the talkative one. I don't know much about this character. I don't. I'm not like the biggest comic book reader. I know some characters, but this character I have no clue. And I think that's another reason why James Gunn will be like, let's have fun with this character and kill him off in an extremely fun way. Next up, we have Mongal. I also have her dies early in the film. This is another character I know 110% nothing about this character. She's purple. She has like powers of some sort. Maybe. We don't see her much in the trailers. I don't think James Gunn could use this character for feature sequels. To be honest, I have her dies early on in the film, and I don't know anything about this character, so I could see her die in a pretty fun way. Next up, we have John Cena's Peacemaker. I have him dies in the finale. They're not going to keep him alive. Just face it. He's a character that's not super important, but also it's John Cena, this high top actor. So I think he's going to die in the finale. How will he die? Maybe he'll get like stepped by Starro or just slapped into a building and like bleed to death and have like an emotional death. I wouldn't see him having like a sacrificial death, but maybe because Peacemaker is somebody who wants peace so badly he's willing to kill people for it. So maybe he would try to like blow Starro up or kill himself even just to have peace, because that's his character. And John Cena does fit that. So I put him dies in the finale. Next up, we have the man of polka dots, Polka-Dot Man. I have him dies early on in the film. He's this fun, quirky, throwy polka dot man who is a pretty just stupid and ridiculous character that I could see James Gunn just having an absolute blast with. I don't know much about this character. I do like the actor. He's really great in things like The Dark Knight. And he looks fun in the trailers. I just don't see him going very far. Next up, we have Ratcatcher. I also have dies early on in the film. I think we have a bit of a pattern here. Ratcatcher is a pretty uninteresting character. She doesn't really do much, and from the trailers, she's not in the film that much. She's not shown in a lot of shots. She's not really shown in the finale. And to be honest, nobody really cares about Ratcatcher, so I think she's going to die early on in the film. But to be honest, she could survive, or she could die in the finale, or she could be the first one to die. But I have a safe bet that she's going to die early on in the film. Next up, we have the Nick Fury of like the Suicide Squad, Rick Flag. I'm going to put him in Survive. I think, along with Harley Quinn, he's going to survive. He was one of the better parts of the first Suicide Squad film, and he's like the commander. And I think they could do more with him if they choose to make more Suicide Squad films. And I just really like Rick Flag. So this is more of a personal opinion. But why I did like him in the first film, he had no personality. And this film, he actually looks like he's going to have personality. So I just want to see a character that has personality survive in the DCEU. And he's a fun character that they could do some stuff with. So I have him in Survive. Next up, we have Michael Rooker's character, Savant. Again, James Gunn likes to put Michael Rooker in like everything he's in, and I could see him dying in a pretty fun way. He could be the first one to die. I was torn between this and another character that we'll get to, dying the first one to be killed, but I think he's gonna be, to be honest, probably the second one to be killed. I don't see him leaving the plane, but to be honest though, we do see him, I think, somewhat in like the finale, maybe, but I think he's gonna die early on in the film. Next up, we have Solsoria. I have her also dies early on. We see her in like some of the behind the scenes promo stuff. See her with Rick Flag. So maybe there's like some relationship chemistry-esque stuff to it. She's also like a soldier-esque character, but I don't see her making it very far. I would say she might die about maybe the beginning of the second act. Maybe she's like a love interest to Rick Flag, and she like sacrifices herself early on in the film. I don't know. I just don't see her as a character they're going to keep around very long. Next up, we have the Detachable Kid, the best name of any superhero. I have him also dies early on. To be honest, I think he's gonna die, like maybe be the third person to die. I don't think he's gonna make it very far. He has this weird ability where he can remove body parts. I see him probably dying in like the first main action sequence. We only really see him in one action sequence anyway, so I see him trying to do some fun stuff, maybe kill a couple guys, and then just get absolutely blown up or obliterated in some fun, very violent, very James Gunn-esque way. Next up, we have the Thinker. Now, according to the trailers, what I'm gathering, it looks like the beginning of the film, they're like trying to track the Thinker, and maybe he has some connection with Starro, our main like supervillain or something, and maybe he like dies, and then they have to try to find a plan B. I don't see him making it that much. He's just kind of this. He seems like this plot device, like this character that's just used. The character that's just there just to kind of move the plot around, and then he'll just die, and then the characters will have to find a way to, like, try to find something to, like, try to find, like, a plan B or something. So I don't see the Thinker making it very long. Second to last, we have the Weasel, and I think he is going to be the first one to die. Listen, he's really creepy, he's really ugly, and in the trailers and promos and stuff, we don't see him in any other shots besides on the plane. And we see in the trailers, the plane crashes. So to be honest, I think he's going to be like the cause of the plane crashing, and he just dies. I see him as the first one that's going to die. I see him as the first one that's going to go. The Weasel, I'm sorry, man, you're not going to make it very far. And finally, we have King Shark. I'm going to put him in Survive. So there you guys have it. That was who I think will live, who I think will die, and all in between in James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. I cannot wait to see this film. And again, if you have seen the film, please do not spoil it down in the comment section below. Please, please, please keep the spoiled. And also, let me know who you guys think is going to die down in the comment section below. If you guys like this one, hit that like button and subscribe and hit that post notification bell so you guys never miss when I upload another video. So check out my podcast I do every other Tuesday with a friend of mine. It's called the Movie View Podcast. And you guys can check out my Instagram at JamesGoodDaniel77. Thanks for watching, and keep talking movies.